Oh, hold on. We need lights. What are we doing?
Oh no, good idea.
I was gonna say something did feel.
Something didn't feel bright about this situation. This is tight though. We didn't even start it, so no. Oh, we don't have a camera on.
I was gonna say. I was like, oh.
Okay, hold
Whoa.
up. But it sounds good, I think. Let's do an audio check.
All right. How now, brown cow?
Ow now, brown cow.
Right about this situation. This is tight though. We didn't even start it, so no, we don't have a camera on.
I was like,
But it sounds good, I think. Let's do an audio check.
All right. How now, brown cow?
Ow now, brown cow.
I think that all sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whiffy. Jake's on the whiffy.
These are awfully bright lights. All right. I don't think it's jacket material.
It almost, I think the way this couch works here, it almost has to be set up like two people seated there and one person here rather than a person in the corner. Because if this person has to swivel too much, the audio
Yeah, I could
There's
hear
no
it. I
bueno.
could hear it even then when you were talking
when
to
I'm
me.
further away from it.
Yeah, yeah. What if you just loosen it up, and then just like because that's kind of noisy too.
Yeah. All right.
Just look at the camera.
Yeah, too hard.
Cam man.
All right,
Hey,
hold on.
Cam man.
We're gonna start this.
Go these goddamn hunnits.
Jesse, do you want to do the intro this time? Oh no, dude! It says no. Okay, hold up.
Oh, we're back. Maybe.
What number episode is this?
14.
14. Nice.
I think we've stuck to our numbers for
There we go.
the New Year's resolution of 2 a month. We're well on that pace, I think.
Yep. Yeah, we're killing it. We're doing a great job. And we had Chad sub in for you,
Nice.
and Lizzie said that was our best episode yet. Shout out Lizzie.
Okay.
It's
Fine. I'm fine
Lizzie's
with that.
our
I don't
most
have a problem with
devoted
that.
listener.
I think
Why are you yelling?
I think Kristen actually might be Kristen or Tucker. But yeah, Lizzie said that our last episode was the best because there were more questions asked. She said that she liked Chad's inquisitive questions, and it mostly dealt with different sand types at the beach. And she's like, yeah, it sounded like you guys knew what you were talking about. She's like, most of the time
Wow.
it sounds like wild pontification. And I was like, good, that's what I think we want.
Isn't that
Yeah, and I thought that's
Yeah, that's
Isn't
what we're
that
going
what
for.
we're going Oof. We're not trying to get verified here.
Yeah, we have more often than not
Okay.
a no fact check.
Noted. We'll try to make this episode more inquisitive in nature.
But you know, like Chad can kind of get like just like, oh, what do you think caused it? You know, like, what would you say the difference between?
It's a great Chad.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Well, because some things are. Okay. Well, noted. We'll try to ask more questions. Loyal listeners.
If our listeners have questions, put them in the chat, which we most of the time don't check
Yeah.
during a live show.
I'm not checking it.
So what's been happening?
Well, hold on. We should introduce the show. Well, because we're live, right?
Yep.
Welcome, listeners, loyal listeners, to Amateur Hour, a show about West Coast surfing and skiing and frequently technical difficulties, but we're feeling good tonight.
Yep.
So far, so good.
Riding high.
And we're back in the studio. It's myself, Jacob, Jesse, and David, and we're back after 2 weeks. Jesse's back after longer than that, a month, maybe,
Yeah, it's been
Yeah, because Chad
a few
subbed out
weeks.
for him.
Yeah.
because we've been alternating with our weekly poker or bi-weekly poker crew as
Yeah.
well, which you're your seat at that table or your champion seat has been supplanted by Matt, David's brother-in-law.
Yeah, it's a long season.
Yeah, Matt sucks.
He's already had 2 wins.
It's a long season. And, after absolutely destroying the league last year, it's like I can take a little hiatus, and that's fine. We'll get
I
back
hope you
there.
lose so bad this year, all year.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's kind of like when you've been, like, pushed down for that long, you're probably going to have feelings like that. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's good to see some other people get a little breathing time,
David and I are tied for second place in the league right now at negative $5 apiece.
Oh, geez.
That's,
Yeah, I guess 2 wins.
that's practically up $5 for me.
Uh,
I didn't do so well last year in the poker league. I did really well 2 years before that.
The good news is it's the way our league works, if you're curious, listeners, is it's just enough money to get excited about if you win, but not enough money to be sad about if you lose. So it's kind of like okay, you win $50, that's not nothing, or $75, but if you lose 10, 15.
I don't look at it as gambling. I just look at it as giving my friends money.
It's
Can
a
I
poker
have a
connoisseur. It's a poker connoisseurs
You want
league.
$10 right now? Let's go get the cards.
But yeah, so now we're back, and I don't know, probably talk about surfing and skiing. You asked what I was up to recently?
Yes.
Or what do you have?
No, it can wait. But I do want to talk about some surfing.
Dude, I hope we all become like crazy successful and like rich, and then cut to like even a little bit past that, our crazy downfall, and they're using that footage in court where we're talking about gambling.
This is where it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, I like the rich part. I'm hoping there's no subsequent downfall.
There's gotta be.
Is there this weird? Lizzie and I were talking about this on this trip that we were just on. Is there a lottery amount that you wouldn't tell people about that you won it?
Well,
Either
in California, you have to claim it publicly.
big or small. I mean, like your friend, like your circle of friends.
If
how much would you have to win, or how little? Like if you won, like
I won $2 the other day, and I kept that a secret.
No, I would tell. Well, I mean,
I'm
just
kidding.
just because you didn't think it was worth mentioning.
I have not played any lottery.
is there an amount of money that you could win in the lottery that's enough to where you're like, this is a big, but you're like, I'm not giving out. Like,
Well, think about it. If you win a couple $100,000, that's gonna make some people probably feel a certain type of way, but it's not enough to be breaking people off.
of course. So I'm saying, like,
Like, okay, let's do this exercise because I like where this is headed. You win. Let's say you clear $300K after taxes. Yeah, it's a life-changing amount of money in the short term, but not like ultimately.
it's a lifestyle changing amount of money.
It also depends though too, because
You're not quitting your job.
I'm telling you guys though, because I know I wouldn't expect you guys to expect any money.
I would
with
$300,000. I would expect a little something. At least a dinner out.
But maybe though, because we're grandfathered in though, because I think we've all said many times in our youth when we bought more lotto tickets that we would share, that we would cut each other in on some of the deal.
Yeah.
Not share, but I'd be like, I'd buy you
at least a beater car.
It'd be in a
a
cord.
wood box.
Yeah.
Just
With $300,000, especially since none of us have like no money
Dude,
now.
that's like $40,000.
we used to. I think if I got a $300,000 after tax lottery thing, I could break off a couple close friends a little something.
yeah.
I don't think
what
I
it
would
be.
give cash. What about a trip?
No, I'd probably take like a really nice trip that was funded or something.
Oh yeah, dude, I would do that.
Maybe like a gift basket.
Yeah, a Godiva chocolate box, something.
You gotta like.
But now if you're starting to get into the millions, a couple million, you might want to keep that to yourself for the most part, because that's enough where.
Yeah, people might come looking for a scrap.
But you know what? I don't think the way I would live would be that different. I just probably wouldn't work, or I would.
At what point
my
would
own
you
thing.
not care? What amount of money would you start to not care and be like, everyone's getting a piece of the pie?
What do you mean, everyone?
Like, you're going to be a lot more frivolous just because it's like, okay, well, this is more than I could ever hope to spend.
50 million.
50 mil, people are getting broken off M's.
Yeah. Some.
Yeah.
people for sure.
I would say that.
And is it
for
descending?
Yeah, so this is a topic of conversation that came up. It's just like if you won like a smaller amount, you obviously have different tiers of people. It's
Yeah,
like,
there's
all right, not
tiers,
every
right?
friend is getting like, you know.
Yeah.
And so then you have to, that could like sow discord, you know. You have to be like, all right, I'm giving you this amount, but you have to sign an NDA. You can't tell this other you know.
How much did you get from Jake? Oh, really? I got double that.
And then
No, I do it politician style and just hand out cushy jobs
yeah.
to all my friends. You know what I mean? Like a money laundering scheme.
It's funny though. They say money changes people. Undoubtedly, you might think no now. Not those aren't the type of friends I have. But if you won that sum of money, and you started breaking off people large amounts because like you can't spend it all, there would be people coming back for a second time. If you gave enough friends money, there would be people that would come back for round 2.
Or people that would have like, I got a great new business venture.
So I think you'd have to do what some people talk about when you give like friends or family money, people that ask for money. They all say don't loan people, right? Like don't loan people money. It's like this one guy, I forget, who was being interviewed. He's like, had a lot of money. He's like, my thing was this. If someone came to me for money and I could afford it, but I had that feeling of like, I shouldn't do this. Like, all right, I'll give you the money on one condition. And the person's like, sure, anything, like that you never, ever, under any circumstances, ask me for any money again.
Like that's Kevin O'Leary from the Shark
But yeah,
Tank.
I think that might be like, all right, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd still ask for money.
I don't know. I feel like I would maybe give most of the money away philanthropically and just tell my friend, and then like just like act as if I only had like whatever gotten made like with a moderate sum of money.
I'm not really
you know?
big on charity at this point. I don't mean. I mean, at least I guess it depends on your definition of
I could start a school for chillin'.
philanthropic, like giving it to like an entity where it gets swallowed up in a bureaucracy. No, I'd rather see my money like do good in like real time on the ground,
Like buried underground.
I know, but dude, all my
as
friends.
opposed to giving it to some like entity and then having them get swallowed up in the beer. Or like I'd love to do a lot of good, but I'd like to like see it in real time.
Would you start filming YouTube videos where you go around and give homeless people
No.
at that, or like make them
No,
pick
I think
between?
that's one of the most like obvious signs of like sickness in society is like people that film.
No, I
acts
would.
of good.
Yeah.
I would fund grassroots efforts to do things like extend the break wall of places that they're trying to get rid of it, and
The break wall?
yeah,
What's
like
that?
Long Beach break wall, maybe extend it a little bit farther. They're trying to rip it out, dude. I'm going opposite of them. Get the sand out of Newport.
Longer groins at the beach.
A Costa Mesa man declared bankruptcy today after a 7-year spending spree that included extending the Long Beach break wall 50 meters. Critics of his proposal. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I guess everyone's got like a different amount, but yeah, 50 mil. I'm breaking up. I think
Okay, but hold on though. I feel like I'm not really telling anybody, and I changed my mind. If this isn't California and nobody needs to know, I'm not telling anybody.
But California, you do have to claim it publicly. You
I know,
can't
but
claim it through LLC.
But if in theory I could keep it secret from everyone, I think I would, because I feel like it's like an inheritance.
I don't
you
know. I don't know if I could. This
I
is a
couldn't.
topic that came up with Lizzie because I think she was like, I don't think I would tell like that many people.
I'd have to.
And I was like, I don't know if I couldn't not. You know.
You don't have to go into specifics too. You could just word would get around.
I know, but I would not. I mean, I would do as much as I could to explain away like the fantastic trips that I was going on and bringing my friends on and why I wasn't working.
So David,
I would never say like, oh yeah, I want. I mean, imagine it's like an inheritance, right? Like I mean, you don't feel obligated to somebody's inheritance if they were to inherit a bunch of money. You don't feel obligated to even know how much it is. It's just like, okay,
but it's
yeah.
This is turning into almost like that meme. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there'd be signs. Like, okay, a better question is so let's say I win 50 mil. Would you, given our relationship over the years and how long I've known you, could you honestly say if I was like, yeah, David, I won 50 mil and I started just living a very lavish lifestyle, but my spending around you maintained the same and I never indicated any desire to do anything extra, that wouldn't make you feel any type of way?
You got to talk into the mic. I can't.
Yeah. I can't hear you.
I win 50 mil.
No, I know.
I live a
heard
lavish lifestyle,
I
but
guess
my
this is for the people.
No, I'd want
listen,
to be
dude,
swept
yeah.
along in the way.
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, you'd feel some type of way.
yeah, I'd be like,
Damn,
but
bro.
I mean, I don't know. Also, though, would I like if you were like making like fantastical amount more money than I was? I wouldn't feel like obligated to that money.
No, but I know,
know,
but it's a little different, right? It's one thing to like create that organically through hard work, and although it begs the same question, right? If I became, it's not likely given my work ethic and smarts, but let's say I created some company and made tens of millions of dollars, and now I'm worth 50, 60 mil, but I don't ever do anything like nice financially for you, you'd
listen, dude.
probably feel some type of way.
No,
I would.
I would feel hurt if you did it for other friends, but not me. If you were like,
That's fair.
oh, what's
We're
up,
going to
Andy
In-
White?
we're going
yeah,
to
we're going
Indo.
to Indo. Like, somebody that's like a friend of a friend, and then you're like, oh, David, dude, hey, that burrito was
I'll catch you in Newport.
That burrito was $12.50.
But the way my mentality would be, it would be hard for me if I had a friend as close as you, or, I mean, that if someone came across an amount of money where it's like, you clearly can't spend that all in a lifetime, right?
Or you can.
But you'd be greedy too.
For sure.
Right? And you're not interested in making a really good friend's life. It would be nothing to you to make a really good friend's life infinitely better. It would impact you zilch. Right?
I guess that's true.
That's the way I look at it.
But I can also make a lot of other people's life
I know, but you're not
much better too with like philanthropy. It wouldn't be necessarily hoarding it, and I would just continue to live my life similar. I'd have a nicer house.
Wins.
I've thought about this though, and I think you could do with that
do
amount of
both.
money. You could do both. You could start like really amazing philanthropic organizations, or just organizations that did work, and then like give people.
There would be enough for hoop and to break you off.
I mean, I think that would be nice, and I think that I think I would, if I won 50 million, I would be generous with it.
I think I'd do exactly like what you're saying. And I think wealthy people do this all the time. It's just like put people on payroll, just be like,
yeah.
You would have to be careful though, because like, okay, I give you a mill, right? I give you a mill or whatever.
Or-
but like it would reach a point where it's like you can't just give everybody a mill.
No,
Yeah,
but
then you're
this
gonna
is
have
this is
family.
actually what I would do though, Jesse. I would say, Jesse, do you want to start a car dealership? Here, I'll help you. I'll invest money and help you start your own car dealership or brokerage, or I'll help you. I would do that and do like some sort of like
it's an
investment
investment
with
opportunity.
with a free loan rather than just giving the cash.
But at some point, then you'd have to have that conversation with me where you said, "I think I want my money back."
I mean,
The dealership has got out of control.
I mean,
I
it
would
does
not.
seem nice, but doesn't also like cash feels, I don't know, tough to deal with. So like amongst, like you're talking about, like amongst people.
The other thing that would be easy to do, which wouldn't be like, I mean, it'd be improving your life by just being like, anytime that you wanted to go on a sick trip, that whoever that person was, just be like, hey, we're going here. Like you don't have to, pay. Like we're gonna go to Mammoth. It's all on me.
Yeah.
Rather
Yep.
than being like, oh, all right, here's like a finite amount or a monthly amount.
And listen, dude, I've realized a long time ago, this is not going to be a problem I need to worry too much about,
This keeps me up at night.
Like in my wildest dreams,
Lotto ethics.
it'll be selling like a mildly successful business for a handful of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to play the lottery to win too. I haven't bought a lottery ticket in years.
I think David does somewhat regularly.
Yeah,
David
every,
wins.
every
Did you
time
see-
I take out money to buy weed, every time I take out cash to buy weed, I buy a lotto ticket because they're right by each other, the ATM.
They've
the
gotten more
lotto machine.
expensive.
The super lotto, I think,
Yeah.
is still $1 though.
They're raising the prices of the super to $5 a ticket,
No, that's mega.
or mega. Yeah, it went
Yeah.
from 2 to 5.
I think the super is still 1 though.
Nice.
So inflation hits the lotto as well.
I hope it doesn't go to 2.
Yeah.
That feels like too much. $1 for a lotto ticket. You know, I mean, that's like it's like drinking 2 Spindrifts. You know, it's
Yeah,
not that big of
you
a
might
deal.
find that on the ground covered in poo.
I won't belabor the point, but it'd be interesting. You could probably ask ChatGPT or Grok to calculate this for you. How long, when you started buying dollar lottery tickets back with Arizona iced teas in like 04,
You got to
05.
talk into the microphone, bro.
You started buying
Don't even look at me. Look at the computer.
dollar lottery tickets maybe 20 years ago, right? You would buy Arizona iced tea, you'd buy a lotto ticket. Now, what would that have been if every dollar instead of a lotto ticket, you had just sunk that into like a money market fund dating back 20
but that's
years
not
ago?
the way the world works, dude. Like, how much, dude? You know that fucking Great Mex burrito that cost you $12? You could have eaten like rice and cat food for 60 cents.
Yeah, the difference though is like I just can't get behind the lotto anymore. So I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to. The only way is that if I do something myself.
Hey, I'm not saying it's like something everybody should do or a smart move, but I'm also saying like there's plenty of other things that I waste my money on. Like I buy in Arizona and I drink it. And
Yeah.
Like so buying one lotto ticket every couple months.
Is it
I'm
that
sweating
different than going to like Vegas and playing like a slot machine?
I don't
It's
do that either.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like people derive enjoyment out of gambling. Like that's the entertainment value.
Or even just buying a cookie from
For sure,
like
yeah.
buying food that's nice that you could get for cheaper somewhere else or make it yourself. Going
yeah.
out to dinner, dude. I went out to eat sushi the other night. I could have
Yeah.
eaten my own fish at home.
But no
Damn
one
it.
wants their own fish.
Frozen fish.
Well,
I shut some kids down when we were in Revelstoke. The same skiers that I was like, I want to put the bar down. They're like, oh, that must be a Canadian thing. And I was like, no, actually, I'm American, which is such a sick thing to say to someone, especially if you think they're Canadian. Oh, that must be a Canadian thing as they put the bar down. But then I was like, oh yeah, the sushi place here is pretty good. And they're like, sushi here? And I was like, dude, you're eating the same frozen fish, like flash frozen fish, if you eat it in Seattle, Revelstoke, Miami, here. It's all the same, man.
Yeah.
there is substantial variation though in quality of sushi.
Yeah, but it's not based on geography.
No, like
No. Well, to some degree it is.
No.
You're gonna not find as good as sushi joints in Middle America.
that's not true anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
There's-
Chad was. I made the same point. We were talking about going to like I forget where, some big city back in the Midwest, and talking about like not being able to get good fish. And Chad's like, the restaurant scene there is out of control. Stuff just comes over on planes like overnight
Yeah, and and all the fish is, if it's not cooked,
at like good places, right? They want to pay for good fish. There's variations in, maybe like
Okay,
a
maybe
cheap,
in Chicago or like
Yeah,
major
yeah.
metropolitan areas, but if you're in the middle of Missouri and you're eating at a sushi joint,
Yeah,
it's
but
probably
that's
not going to
not-
be great.
yeah, it could-
well, that's because of the taste. The taste of the market isn't demanding
exactly.
good.
They're
It's-
not demanding,
But so
high
it is
qual-
about geography.
kind of, but it's not like anywhere can get good fish if they want to.
Yeah. But there's more cost, and with more cost comes higher prices, and with higher
It's like
prices,
socioeconomic rather more than
but
geography.
again, geography based.
kind
I know,
of.
but you're eating the same fish everywhere.
There's
you
good
do
sushi
that.
though, like in all sorts of geography.
And it's the same reason why there's just not as good of dining in the middle of the country generally, and as fine of dining and as varied of taste as there is along the coast. There's more culture. There's people with more money.
Yeah.
This is what the listeners came to listen
Yeah.
to.
But I don't know. Having eaten a fair amount of sushi
Fuck
places
Middle America.
in California, I think there's a pretty big variation even here. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm pretty certain some of the places I've eaten at, it's never been frozen.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Really?
Sushi, almost always. I think fish in general, right? It's
Yeah.
like
I don't think if it's cooked fish, it might not be frozen, but if it's served raw. It's been flash frozen and kept frozen I think maybe kept frozen for a little while to make sure everything dead.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good point.
yeah, which you probably want.
Yeah. What about oysters? Do you guys eat oysters or not?
Yeah,
At all.
I love oysters.
I like oysters. I like the way they tasted, but my stomach does not like
Apparently,
them
it's
anymore.
one of the most poisoned, or like the greatest chance of like getting messed up seafood wise is like oysters.
Really?
Paralytic
Yeah.
seafood poisoning.
Yeah. I like them though.
I don't want a ton. Like I don't want more than like 4 or 5, I think. But as an appetizer, like sharing, I'm a huge fan. A little like salt brine, lemon juice.
Yeah, no, they're good.
I
guess
love
so.
the taste. I can't eat them though. It's like lactose intolerance for people, except at least though it's just like oysters, not a big deal, you know.
I remember. Do you remember Dennis, Julie's brother?
Yep.
He was lactose intolerant, and there's a time when he was trying to bulk up so much that he was just drinking like quarts of milk, even though it was
And just
causing like
suffering the
extreme like gastric like discomfort just for like bulking.
Do you think that his body was having trouble absorbing the
Maybe,
nutrients
I
from
don't
it
know.
if he was so intolerant? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seems like maybe doing more harm. That was before though, like lactose-free stuff was as popular as it is now.
Yeah.
Like you can get some whey protein.
I think everyone though, to some degree, is somewhat lactose intolerant. It's just varying levels. And as an example, like I hate milk, but I could drink a glass of milk and be fine. I'm not lactose intolerant like someone that's actually got an issue. But if you eat enough ice cream, you will like shit your pants essentially. Like if you've ever, I think we've all had that experience where
Not
you've just
me.
gone, really?
Yeah.
You've never had like just too much cream or
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
it will cause issues.
Cucina and Oteka did that to me the other night. Shout
Okay.
out to them. It was good, tasty. But dude, the fucking cream and butter that they must put in their stuff was so gnarly. Even later, like an hour later, and then I was talking to Matt's girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh yeah, North Italia."
That's a good Amanda.
Yeah. Oh yeah, North Italia does that to me too.
Like, would have been
Other
great
Matt. No,
to know.
This is other Matt. This is not Amanda.
Oh.
That'd be so.
What else is going on?
So I just got back from some travels. Probably my last ski trip of the season.
Really, you don't want to go up next weekend? Maybe. What about just a 2-day?
Next weekend?
Yeah,
I don't know if I can.
maybe some corn skiing backcountry.
I think we have an event. Aren't we going to a thing on Friday?
What's that?
We're going to become Mesoamericans.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna become a Mesmerican citizen.
There's like a... Did I text you about it? Maybe not, because it's on a day of the week that you work. There's a...
Seems like something that's worth taking time off.
like at the OCC planetarium. I think it's like a art and like music like thing that gets projected like inside the planetarium that comes to every couple years called Mesmerica.
Nice.
So we're gonna go, but I think that's next Friday. So I don't think I couldn't. And then I forget. I think there's something on Saturday, and who knows?
I wonder what OCC looks like. It's probably changed so much. I have not been on that campus.
dude.
in,
It's huge.
We should go cruise it
years.
before the semester's over.
Maybe we
Howl
should
at
go
some
before
Before
Mesmerica. Yeah,
Like
it's
the
absolutely
on-campus
massive.
bar. You know, they have a campus bar now.
Really?
No, I
Oh.
doubt it.
God, that would be amazing.
But maybe a hookah lounge.
What a wonderful college that was.
I went there. Why was I there? I was there like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago for the Banff Film Festival that they do there at the Moore Theater. And I was like selling tickets or doing something for the Coop. And I'd already seen the film. So like once I was done at the beginning of the show, like while the show was going on, I just walked around campus. And it is so much bigger than it was when we went there. I don't think a single building that I used to have classes in there is like a active functioning building anymore.
Dude, you
Wow.
texted. I remember you texted me, and you're like, "Dude, it's so crazy here." And I was like, "Yeah, we should too. I want to go check it out." And we talked about it then. Haven't
Yeah.
done it.
So all those old buildings that looked almost like elementary to junior high school status, like that
A
style.
lot of the buildings are gone, and then the social science like wing is still there, but I don't think they actually do classes in them anymore.
Library's the same. That was a pretty modern library
Yeah.
they'd already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's just been so much built and added on
Yeah.
to
So
them. It's massive.
OCC was. I didn't do a lot of studying there per se, but the vibes were definitely right.
Dude, it passed the vibe check for sure.
Yeah.
OCC was a vibe check. Yeah.
It was a Wonderful place to pursue higher learning. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude.
We lost our train of
Anything
thought.
above OCC fucking sucked. Made me want to drop out.
Yeah, OCC was a place that really didn't make you feel like you
I'll
needed
tell
to.
you one other amazing educational establishment, though, that might even have OCC is LTCC.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Wow. What a college.
Lake Tahoe.
Yes. Beautiful campus.
For the viewers.
But, okay, so we got
So Jake
sidetracked there.
went skiing.
So I went skiing. My
We went
last
to
ski
Bachelor.
trip to Bachelor for Lizzie's birthday, and I was telling David before this, that is such a fun resort, and that we should do a trip there at some point. It'd
Are
be so
there-
fun to do like a spring annual trip there.
Is Bachelor excuse me,
It's an-
dormant volcano?
I think so. I think there's a chance that it could go. We were reading about this because it's in this chain of like volcanoes, I think called the Three Sisters. So there's three like bigger peaks kind of all connected to it.
Is that South Sister part of that?
Yes. There's like north, middle, or flat or something like that. And then I forget. And I don't know if Bachelor is considered the southernmost one or it's just had this mountain range that's just north of it. But I don't think there's any risk of it going off, or any considerable risk of it going off. But it, all the ski runs, you could take one lift that goes all the way to the summit, and then you can ski off in 360 from
Yeah.
the summit. And then if you go off the backside, you get collected by like a cat track and like brought back around to a bunch of lifts on the front side of the mountain.
How many lifts
Nice.
does it have?
Maybe like, I don't know, 14 to 15.
Oh wow.
Probably
So it's a
doesn't
lot.
need that many if it's more of that just 360.
Yeah, maybe
kinda-
maybe even less than that, I guess.
But
I'm
that's a
trying
lot though.
to- Yeah.
You know what, dude? That was a crazy thing about Revelstoke that blew my mind was how few lifts they had there.
There was a lift at Bachelor. I think it's the furthest like lookers right if you're looking at the mountain, called Northwest. It's not like a fancy. It's like a high speed quad, but it's like the June one. Like it's not like a new fancy one. It's just like a regular old high speed quad, but it covers so much vertical. I think like 2,400 feet.
Damn.
And
A
I don't
lot
think
of
there's
horizontal too.
what's that?
A lot of
A
horizontal.
lot of horizontal, but just a ton of vertical. Like the lift goes on forever. And I was thinking, I don't think there's anything at Mammoth that goes up even close to that amount.
Nowhere near that. No. I don't think there's anything Mammoth that probably goes over 1,500.
What's the biggest at
10
Mammoth? Probably
maybe or 23.
9, 23.
23. 23 takes you from
Gondola, G2.
Okay, but that in terms of a ski lift, maybe 23. Because
I don't know
23
that.
is slightly, probably about even with McCoy or a little below since it's in that pocket.
Yeah,
And then it takes you to, what, 11 essentially?
less.
10,
This-
9.
Yeah,
So that's almost roughly 1,400 feet.
10's,
Yeah.
10's pretty up there though too, going from
Ooh,
the mill up to.
Cloud 9.
yeah.
I think Cloud 9 goes higher than 10 though.
Nothing close to 2.
No. So it felt super long, and I was telling David the trees on it were like perfectly spaced, like kind of wide trees, and it was like spring skiing, like soft snow in there. It was super fun.
They've had a
Um,
good season.
They've had a great season. I think like one of the best. And then so yeah, there's plenty of snow, and we were skiing there just before they switched there to like spring hours. So it was still regular hours. You could start at 9, ski till 4. So we did that for 2 days, and then went and did an overnight like backcountry skiing and splitboarding trip at Crater Lake. And they have a ton of snow. I think like a really, really good year, like 640 something inches that have fallen there. So
Did you swim in Crater Lake? You're
No.
about to be banned for several years.
it would have been so cold and treacherous to get down to the lake line there. Like where we were camping was decently close to like not a cornice, but a thing that if you fell down, like it would be hard to stop
Before you headed into
before
the
you got into the lake. Yeah. Or it'd be really easy to like entrain snow with you and then just
Is that
pit.
not drinkable lake water due to the like all the volcanic stuff? Could you just drink out of the lake?
I don't know.
Mm. It's one of the clearest lakes in the country, right? In the world.
No,
maybe.
one of the deepest. I don't think Clarity is what it's known for.
I don't know. It is deep. I think the deepest section.
I'm pretty-
Yeah, take a guess actually.
Well, it's deeper than
1,000 feet.
No, it's more than that, right?
I know the answer. So
It's deeper than. Isn't it deeper than Tahoe?
I don't know how deep Tahoe is. I don't know that.
What?
14 hundo.
2,000.
19
Dang.
in the deepest section.
2 T's.
So yeah, so did that, and then went from there to San Francisco for a couple nights with Brad to see fish.
Nice.
I just got home today, in time for some imaging on the ankle and unpacking.
Did you go OC imaging?
I went to
OC Imagine. Have you seen that
No.
that season yet of Arrested, where Michael is put in charge of making the movie by Ron Howard, and he gets set up in an office called OC Imagine, but then George.
I think I have seen this.
Sent to
It's like the
OG.
new season, right?
Yeah, it's like the last one. Gets sent, and George Bluth gets sent to OC Imaging, but walks into OC Imagine.
What's the news on the ankle front? No,
I just
nothing.
had nothing yet, but I went in, for
It's
some
still
imaging.
there.
Yep. And then I go back in on Monday to the orthopedic to look at the imaging and decide
develop a plan.
next steps.
What if there are no next steps, both literally and figuratively? You're just done. Have you prepared yourself for the possibility that, like, what if they tell you, like, we can't operate on it, and it's only going to get worse, but have yourself a ball? What would you?
I'd keep doing what I'm doing right now. Like, it's good enough to do enough things at an okay level right now that it's like, oh, I hope it gets better, but it's not that,
It's not something we should joke about, but do you think you would make a good, like, mono skier?
I would like to try like the sit ski where you have like the two like little mini skis on arms. I think that'd be super fun.
How much are they?
I don't know.
Probably expensive.
But I think if you have like an actual disability, you can go to like at Mammoth, it's Eastern Disabled Sports.
Do you feel like, would you feel good about going there and doing it? Like, because it affects your skiing.
Guys.
But it affects your skiing though, right?
Yeah.
And like skiing on the monoski might be way more fun and enjoyable for you.
Totally.
But at the same time, if you like, it's kind of hard to, like, I don't know.
If it got worse, I wouldn't feel bad. I would just be like, yeah, I love to ski.
Yeah, what's
and
their
I wanna,
criteria?
Like, no, but what if it was just like this though? And it's like, well, I can't, like, because
yeah, I don't know.
maybe, like, what about by the end of the trip, like the end of Revelstoke,
At
where you're like,
Revelstoke?
it's like, oh, this is just too bad. But what if you could have mono ski, or if you could have sit skied?
Yeah.
Like, disabled is a broad spectrum. Like, could you show up to Eastern, what is it? Eastern
Disabled Sports.
Could
or
you be
something.
like, bring your friend? He's like, he's an alcoholic. He's not going to be able to ski like
he
the
can't
rest of
stand
them.
up. He can't stand up. We got to strap him in.
Like, that is a disability, or it's at least a disease at the very least.
I don't think.
But I've thought about that actually. Of like, if you lost control, or like let's say you lost a leg in a horrific accident, or worse, you were paralyzed. After going through the like run of the mill kind of like feeling despondent or down, do you think you would still try to like be on the mountain?
Oh, heck
in
yeah.
some way?
Yes.
If you like were paralyzed or
Yeah.
lost a leg.
I think seated skiing would be fun. I think it'd be really fun. I watched a clip recently of a guy, I forget who it is, but of a like disabled skier who's on like one of the sit skis doing like a rodeo flip to like rail slide, like on a huge jump, a Red Bull kicker, like on a seated ski. So people, you could.
I feel like I would
Or
still,
airing into Corvettes on seated skis.
I would still try to contribute in some way, but then I would stop getting that gnarly because I'd feel so stupid if after being paralyzed I then fucked myself up even more.
No more backflips.
And people were like, well, dude, come on. Like,
Yeah.
what do you...
But how fun would it be to just cruise around like seated skiing just on like blue green runs?
So
I bet that'd be
messed up to
epic.
think about, but what if you just keep progressively making yourself worse by
Great, now I'm paralyzed from the neck down. Or like, what was that famous
So
surfer?
Jesse, you can't.
Jesse Ballauer. Remember that guy
Uh-huh.
that was like paralyzed? And like, that was kind of like a thing where it's like, okay, but that just doesn't look fun. Because like every time he wipes out, they're trying to make sure he doesn't drown. Like they're like
yeah, I bet he's having fun. Like, what's the alternative though?
true.
You know,
Let's take it away from the funniness of this bit. Just like the
a real life example. No, yeah. I
Bet
would
you
try,
can't
I
do a
think.
backflip on the sit ski. Bet I can.
Jesse, no.
bet no one's done a backflip on a sit ski with no arms and no legs.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, someday I'd like to get up to Bachelor. Sounds
Yeah, it'd be
like
fun.
a
It'd be a fun
blast.
place to do annual or semi-annual like spring trip.
Also be cool sometime. I don't know if it's only available for campers, but it'd be cool to do ski hood in the summer.
Oh, we drove by it on the way because we flew into Portland.
You could split
I think
board
there's
it.
public lift tickets and then the camp. There's
Yeah.
like they're separated, right?
Yep. Yeah, we drove through Mount Hood on the way there, and they have so much
And
snow.
I want to say their session goes through like late July typically,
Yeah,
and then by August it's too.
yeah.
don't
It'd
know.
be interesting to see. I bet Bachelor stays open pretty late this year.
And
as
is
well.
it Whistler that has the Camp Champions, or is that in Banff?
I think it's Whistler. I think. So yeah, I don't know. That might be the end of my ski season, and we're looking at potentially the end of the Mammoth ski season here on our Mammoth accountability booster.
If it was the June season, it would have ended already.
Totally.
Shout out June Mountain.
Yeah, June just
281?
closed. They're at 281 currently for the
I'm
year.
good.
But
I have this. Why'd you, David? Why did you have to choose 300? You couldn't have just said 320.
I felt like 300.
Davies closed 9 more inches. We got a little bit of weather
9 more inches as a tie.
on the way. True.
That's true.
10 more inches.
I don't think it's going to get to 10. 10 more inches.
No.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I think it easily could. There's plenty of seasons.
I don't know. If you're saying
Mammoth
you're not
has
going
like
to
a-
get to 10 inches, that's no joke in matter. That's-
There's
You're
plenty of
packing.
seasons. Mammoth has a 10, 12-inch storm in May.
Yeah. Or like 2.
yeah, but not this season. That's what it feels
Yeah.
like. Listen, that's just what it feels like, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
It's supposed to rain here this weekend, I think,
I'm-
right?
tell
Saturday.
Jake, I'm not conceding, but I'm not expecting to
Not
win.
gloating.
Yeah.
So Jesse and David are really the only ones still in contention on our preseason guesses.
Yeah.
Everyone else is
You know what else we could have
out of
guessed
the
on?
running.
When do you think Tioga's going to open?
Way earlier than normal.
Yeah, so when? Do you think before Memorial Day?
No, I think the amount of times they've opened before Memorial Day are very few and far between.
Yeah, I think
there's
that's pretty rare.
there's still a lot of work to be done, even if it's not a big snow year. Just like, I would say they'll probably make June 15th this year, June 17th,
I'm saying
maybe June.
June 2nd.
I got to consult the calendar here.
That's like the day after Memorial Day, though, isn't it?
I bet they are opening. What do you say?
I say June 2nd. That is shortly after Memorial Day, but Memorial Day is late this year. I feel
I'm
like.
saying the 7th of June. Eid Alba, a holiday. Maybe not, but yeah, the 7th.
I'd have to look. They have a list of their opening dates. Be interesting to see. That is a dangerous job.
Yeah,
But
high risk
working
of
the-
avalanches and.
Have a lot of
buried
people
things in-
died doing it, or
I don't know how many
This is
people have
just
died,
risky.
but I've watched the NPS put out a little like mini documentary a couple of years ago talking about like all the potential like
Dude.
hazards.
What if it was fraud? What if it actually wasn't that dangerous and they just had this puff piece about just like these workers are subject to insane risks?
tell you what. Well, actually, I don't know. Is it Caltrans that does it all, or is
Yeah,
it
it's gotta
in
be.
conjunction with the NPS? Because it could be slowed down this year just due to the budgetary constraints within the park.
dude,
Yeah.
that would be such a fun job, though. I bet it's Caltrans that does it.
It's definitely Caltrans. I just don't know if they operate in. They have to operate in partnership. I mean, it's within the national park.
That'd be
I don't
such
know.
a fun job, though. How much would you do that job for?
Clearing the road.
Yeah, a month of operating the heavy machinery.
I don't know.
1 month. I'd do it for free.
That would be a fun job. I always thought I
Would
wish
it?
I was born with like a more of a mechanical, just kind of like blue collar background, because like it doesn't get much better. Imagine living in like Mammoth, Levining, one of those towns, and just working Caltrans. You're just plowing.
I bet those are sought after jobs there.
Yeah, you're just
Plow jobs.
plowing, setting off charges. Nowadays, they don't even have to like. They're not even using howitzers. Caltrans sets up like pre. Have you ever seen what they're doing now
No.
along Highway 50 and stuff? They pre-set up like at the beginning of the year these like gas chambers up there, and then they have like a remote control, and they just like essentially like press a button, and it sends like a concussive blast beneath the snow, and then boom.
I think I have. I haven't seen them in California, but they have them in Utah.
Yeah, that's how they're doing Highway 50 now. But what a great job that would be.
Have you seen some of the videos of them doing the Abbey control, like in the canyons in Utah, where they're just like kind of moving either up or down the canyon and releasing those avalanches, and then like seeing how far they come out if they cover the road and they have to clear the road.
Yeah.
But they're frequently working in the area, and so there's all this video of like avalanches coming down these like Abbey runs taken by like UDOT workers like on the road, and then like they realize like, oh, it's gonna come to the road, and they're like driving, like laterally away from the avalanche, but it's coming right at them.
Yeah, that's probably a little spicier UDOT.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a great job. Caltrans, just a plowing. Or not even plowing. Plowing seems like it'd actually be pretty stressful.
Yeah, what would be plow support, dude?
Yeah.
But just, yeah, it seems like a pretty chill job. But you're right, they're probably pretty sought after in those areas.
No, dude, Tioga would be so fun to be the plow, like to work the machinery.
I think you have to be on your game like all 8, 10, whatever amount of hours you're working though.
Dude, somebody would yell if they saw something.
See something, say something.
Right? Somebody else will stop it if something's about to happen.
I wonder why why is it so sketchy?
Well,
besides like,
the most
is it that sketchy?
It is very sketchy. Along Olmsted Point, or the most like dangerous part they're plowing, apparently when they're plowing, like it snowed so much over the road, you're not just on a flat, like they're working their way in, getting stuff out, but apparently there's danger with those goodies of hitting like big rocks that have come down, and that in the past apparently has like sent vehicles like off the road, and then just setting off like an avalanche that'll push your vehicle over the road and like down the embankment. Apparently is like a very real concern. So there's only, I could be wrong, you'd have to rewatch this documentary, but most of Tioga in either direction until the critical area is done like pretty quick. But there's that last like 4 whatever amount of miles it is that's like takes the like lion's share of the time. Yeah.
I think I took a photo of it at Crater Lake, but they have like a road that goes around that lake that they plow every year, and I think it doesn't usually open until like late June or even July. But you could see the very beginning efforts of it while we were there, and it's like these 2 like snow machines, but the snow walls on either side that they plowed out are probably like, I don't know, 20 feet high.
Wow.
Or something.
Isn't there a part of you, I know why they don't do it, because the amount of rescues they'd have to do, but it's like, you might as well it seems like more work. Why don't you just keep it up the whole year?
Tioga?
Yeah.
That would be so crazy.
Like it's not that crazy. Colorado has much higher roads that remain plowed all year long.
Yeah, but they get less snow.
But the avalanche danger is higher, so you can't come at it from that angle. Like, it'd just be too dangerous. It's probably about funding.
But also, funding in like Colorado, those mountain passes connect like large urban areas of the state, and I don't think there's like a huge interest.
But I'm saying it's possible. You could do it safely, because when a storm happens, you close the road the same as they close Highway 89 or other. It just doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering,
but I bet it would be more difficult. They just get so much snow. Like, like imagine in the dead of winter when they're getting like, like a 6-foot storm and then 3 feet the next, like.
Controversial take, heat the roads.
Mammoth has so many heated sidewalks now.
And Mammoth and roads too, right?
Oh, really?
I think that one, there's that infamous one that goes
the brick driveway
up to Canyon. Davidson Drive, I think, or something.
So many of the sidewalks, though, it's crazy. Like, even they'll be like totally free of snow after a substantial snowstorm.
Shout out Mammoth.
There have been years Tioga has
fuck Altera though, dude.
not closed, right?
Where what?
They've had years where they haven't had to close Tioga.
Have they?
I'm pretty sure where they've just had ridiculous,
I
like
think-
or they won't close it until there's a snow that necessitates it. In other words, so there's been times Tioga's been open past Christmas.
Yeah, that's true. I think that year that we first started doing mountaineering stuff with Steve was such a bad winter here, like 2012, 13, or 11, 12.
When we did Langley,
where we did Langley in like November, and then I think Steve did Whitney in like December or even early January, and I think drove over Tioga.
Didn't we do Langley in January?
Oh, maybe we did. Maybe it was January.
Yeah, but it was such a bad winter. It was like scrambling.
Yeah,
Did we make it to the top?
we did. We summited.
And then Steve was like delirious, like Eddie Murphy on the way back down, dude. He did not want to go on, but we gave him some electrolytes.
He didn't have trekking poles on that trip,
Oh yeah.
even though we had encouraged him.
Yeah, trekkers are helpful. Those were a game changer. Can you imagine we did most of our backpacking without trekkers until we were like in
I think
our
at
late
this
teens?
I think at this stage I've done more backpacking with trekkers.
No,
than-
but there was a time where we did not use trekkers.
totally.
That seems
Not really for me. I used them
insane to me.
from the beginning to the end.
Well,
No one in our group used them when we were kids, right?
nope.
For pussies.
Yeah.
No one did. Not even Mr.
No.
No one used trekkers. Brian always used them.
He knew.
You know.
But yeah, it makes such a world of difference.
Yeah.
Do you talk to Brian a lot? You guys are like,
I talk to Brian all the time.
you're
Yeah.
a peer
Would-
to him now. As a car salesman, right? Isn't he?
I work across from him.
I know, but he's in the industry.
Brian
still,
works
right?
for me.
What do you mean a peer or like
You guys have the same job.
correct? Yes. Yep. Yeah, I see him quite often. Sometimes he'll call me if there's some like drama going on the street or something. I'm like, "You seeing that?" I'm like, "Yep, that guy's getting arrested."
Oh, I didn't
Whatever.
realize that he worked right across.
Oh
from you.
yeah, I could look across the street and see him in the window. I'm like, "Oh, hey Brian." Yeah.
Maybe Brian will come to Refugio this year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We got our spots.
Yep.
We're locked in. No group site.
In fact, I checked on Brian after Jaguar came out with that very questionable advertising campaign.
What was a questionable advertising campaign?
I don't want to get too deep into it because we're not a political show, but it was one that was pandering to a certain demographic and like laughably so. And so I texted him. I was like, "Hey, you guys okay over there?" It was like a very colorful.
I don't want to say the type of person.
It was a very
but
colorful ad, let's say.
Okay.
They like
And
playing
I
soccer.
texted him. I said, "You guys okay over there?" And it elicited a long, angry response. "No, Jesse, we're not. We can't decide who we are." But yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, I think Brian would be a fan of Refugio.
Yeah.
I felt like I got closer this year to the group site, but still no group site. I was able to get it in my cart, but by the time I had clicked on the CAPTCHA like thing
Done.
to prove that I wasn't a
Taken.
robot, other people were already there, and so then it showed as like busy, not
Locked.
taken, like locked. Yeah. So
That's tragic.
it went.
How are these people doing it? It's just luck of the draw.
I forgot all about it until I saw a text from you like at like 8:30 in the morning. He's like, "Shit!" And I ran upstairs, and my girls were like coming after me because they always want to be involved in stuff, you know. And I'm like, "Lauren, can you grab the girls?" And then like I called my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, you got to get your Refugio sites." And she's like, "Okay." Shit, I can't. I don't. The pressure's getting to me. And I was like, "Okay, Mom, just you get yours. I'll get Aunt Wendy's because I can get two."
Yeah.
So-
You got two?
Yep. So they're coming again.
We're in the same.
which is tight for me.
Oh, it's after. I think we heard you, and it's after birthday time in October.
Good.
So I think
That's
it's
good.
the last full week in October.
Nice.
Rocktober.
Rocktober. Refugetober.
You know what? I'm going to say it right now. 25, 26. Mild winter. Good fall, mild winter. I'm feeling it.
Could be better for waves too. The later you get
No.
in October.
Bad. It's gonna be bad surf. Mild winter.
Was there surf around Newport recently? Did they get their first big south?
Yep.
It was this. I have not been here for the last week, but I think it's been good.
It was popping off the other day when we surfed. It was good. And then we surfed with Chad, dude, at Blackie's last show, 2 weeks ago. And that was peaky glassy surf.
Have you seen the swell that has been hitting Sydney?
No.
I've been watching the Bells
Is there a
contest.
contest on right now?
Yeah, there's a Bells
There's
contest.
What was it? They were calling it like the Good Friday swell. Some of the spots in like what would that be? Southern
You
Australia.
got to talk into the microphone.
Southern Australia were wild.
What a difference.
I thought you said I was loud enough to just pull it off.
No, I've been telling you the whole time. You got to talk in the microphone.
No, I know.
You
I've
got to
just
talk
been
in the microphone. You got to talk in the microphone.
I can.
Jake told you were loud enough.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, there's been some
I didn't say anything like that.
pretty wild surf down under.
The Bells contest has been sick. Have you been watching it?
No, but I just saw that it was.
Oh, dude. That might be like my dream destination wave on the CT. You know, like a lot of the other way, like Pipeline. Dude, Pipeline's too gnarly. I would never feel comfortable surfing Pipeline in any conditions. Maybe the best, like easiest to surf, but
I body surfed Waimea. It's not that hard.
where else?
Barreled.
Lowers is a good wave. El Salvador maybe, but Bells seems like.
What about that place that I know it's not a regular tour stop, but that one down in Mexico, the Point Break, that they had the Bar de la Cruz.
Yeah, but I feel like I'd rather be in Australia than Mexico.
Yeah, a right barreling like Point Break though.
I know, but Bells looks so good.
Bells doesn't barrel as much though, right? It's
No.
more like a big height, or it can be like decent size or
It
big
looks
size.
like a way better version and longer wave than like a uppers or lowers, right?
Yeah, but I love uppers.
But I'm saying that's the style of wave it is, right?
Yeah, but it's over like
Almost like a J Bay style wave.
yeah, but it's not like cobblestones. I don't think it's like a mossy reef. It's a really interesting reef that it's on.
J Bay's cobblestones.
I think J Bay is like lava boulders, but I think it is boulders. I think it's like lava reef and lava boulders. I like cobblestones, though. Ridcon, uppers, Malibu. The spot you go.
hallmark right point breaks of Southern California. So yeah, the surf has been good, even though I haven't been here for a week. Before I left, I think I had the best, a low bar for me probably, but I had the best surf sessions that I've had in like months at Blackie's.
Nice.
On back-to-back days. Like once me and Chad, and then the next day me and David went down. And it wasn't that crowded. It was super peaky and really fun.
Jake, you should go get a competitor and then start coming to uppers with me when it's really small.
I've thought about it.
Is that where you've been surfing mostly due to the proximity of your work?
No, I've just been. I was on a tear and I went there twice recently. When I like to go, and anybody listening out there, this is a secret. Don't go there when I like to go there. I like to go there like on the tail end of swells, like almost actually after the swell when there is no surf anymore, and it's like 1 to 2, occasional 3. And I like to longboard there when it's like clean in the mornings. It's really great long peely waves with usually no other longboarders out. On Saturday there was one.
Nice.
It's such a fun longboard wave.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
good.
When you don't.
You know where you could still score it really nice too, uncrowded, is on a full moon with some surf.
yeah, we were talking about night skiing or night surfing with Chad.
Chad is very into the idea.
You know what I think I'd rather do though, almost, is just like night boogie board in like West Newport.
Although, with the prevalence of is it just the drones now and we know they're there, or is it just more sharks there than when we were young? I don't know about night surfing at uppers.
Yeah, I know that's a big issue for me.
It is. I mean, something to consider.
Yep.
They're out there, and they always were, but it seems like there's more of them in that part of southern California now than there used to be, because there were not that many sightings when we grew up surfing trails.
Where were you talking about?
Malibu. I think Malibu would be so fun. It feels
Malibu
like
at night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like that's such a hard wave to get uncrowded.
Do you think you wouldn't be alone on a full moon with good surf?
I bet not, but I bet it'd be easy to catch waves.
Yeah. maybe you get maybe there's probably some sort of really hardcore waterproof light with some serious lumens.
There is, but I don't know if you want that.
Yeah, that might not be good. You might be attracting fish, and then that attracts some bigger fish.
There's a trip surfing at Blackie's until
That
dark.
late?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like they have these new lights in the lot that really light up the water.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chad is a fan of surfing until like last light.
As Chad
We used to
proved
be too, though, dude.
True. Yeah, he
dramatically.
Yeah,
He's better than you now. It's a
he
little
can
bar.
Doesn't take much.
trim and ride waves, and I think he's been thoroughly enjoying it. He was doing double days,
Nice.
early morning and sunset. So yeah, the surf has been super fun. What have you been up to?
Yeah, same old work. Just really work. Some skating. Preparing for my Alaska trip. It's coming up here on the 23rd of May, so about a month away.
Where are you going?
Alaska.
Where's that?
It's the 51st state. No, sorry, that's Canada.
Where are you going in Alaska?
Flying into Anchorage and then hopping on one of those big old cruise ships and doing the whole inside passage.
Oh,
So
no.
Skagway, Ketchikan, Juneau.
Have you been on a cruise before?
I have not.
Do you think you'll see? Is there a potential for seeing Northern Lights?
Possibly, I'd have to look at like the magnetic schedule or whatnot. But yeah, supposedly, it's possible. There's another event coming up, right?
That'd be so cool if you're in an area where it.
The
Is
Nordic
viewable.
event.
So I'm not like obviously a big cruise ship guy, but I will say I've been making small talk with customers at the dealer, and I've talked to several people that have been on this exact same cruise who were very anti-cruise and still said they didn't even go on a lot of cruise after this, but said this cruise, if you have to go on a cruise, was like bar none
The best one to go on.
So
I mean, I'm sure the inside passage sounds cool.
just the scenery is like, even if you don't want to like involve yourself in all the trappings of the cruise ship, like just
Dude,
what you get to see
Are
from
you-
the boat.
Are you worried for your safety on the cruise ship?
I mean, hopefully Kara doesn't like bump me off the side.
what about your gut system, dude? That's, I think, what you really got to watch out for. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Worst case scenario, I have a night to shit my brains out.
Dude.
It's nothing new.
I watched this.
I've always wanted to do that in Alaska.
I watched this YouTube channel, and it's so cool. It's called Alluring Arctic Sailing, and it's.
I think
this-
I've seen.
Have you seen it?
Uh-huh.
It's like a Finnish guy and his girlfriend. It's so cool, and dude, it's so crazy what they do. They're just sailing in the Arctic, and they sailed like through the middle of winter, and then now they're frozen into a bay in Greenland, like 30 miles from the nearest really small fishing village. Frozen into a bay, waiting for the sea ice to melt out.
Fending
for the
off
spring.
polar bears. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, they live like amongst polar bears, and they just have like gallons and gallons of diesel and stuff to like run, generator and heater and stuff. And
Sounds very environmentally sound.
I mean, that's
They-
what those homes are doing up there too.
I was gonna say they might have a smaller footprint though than a regular.
The damn polar bears. No, that channel. Have you watched any of their videos?
No, I've been like shown clips. I may have like clicked on them briefly, but
It's a very cool TV show.
okay.
It should be good. I'm looking forward to the trip, and there'll be a lot of time in like town.
10 days or something.
Damn,
Eight.
homie.
Yeah, and then ending up in Vancouver, spending a final night
Do you have any
there.
lottery tickets you could have saved?
Have you been to Vancouver?
I have not. I've never been to Canada.
That's right.
I had to
Vancouver's sick.
I had to renew my passport. And the last time I left the country, well, I went to Mexico, but that doesn't. Last time I left the country was Costa Rica. I have not left the United States since I was 15.
That's crazy.
That is pretty wild.
That was crazy. Good
So,
for you though.
Yeah.
I
like it here.
Dude,
but-
hey, America and specifically Southern California is pretty fucking sick,
Well, it
and
is-
like you don't really need to.
It is
Well,
interest-
really, everything on the 118 West.
Yeah.
But Americans catch a lot of flack for not knowing a lot about geography and not being well traveled, but I think a lot of Europeans that think they're very worldly, they actually haven't traveled longer distances. They've just been to a lot of countries in Europe because they're so close. But I think the reason a lot of Americans don't travel as much is if you don't have a lot of money, you can do a lot. I mean, you can go to so many different places that seem pretty exotic relative to where you are and still be within country.
And there's a lot of
Whereas
places
if you grow
in
up
the U.S.
Germany,
But also, there's so many places in the U.S. too that are just so much cooler than so many of the other places in. Like, there's a lot of cool places in Mexico, right? But like, there's a lot of places in the U.S. All the national parks, all the cool beaches, the big cities that like are way better than 95% of what's available in Mexico.
We got a big land here. You can see super diverse types of areas.
You can go to McDonald's on
yeah.
You can go out to
states.
Colton.
It's a wonderful country indeed.
You can go to Banning and still be back in time for dinner. And you just can't get that in other places. But yeah, looking forward to it. Should be good. Hopefully I see some cool stuff. Gotta do some.
Do you think you'll see killer whales, orcas?
I hope. I've been following that Mark Grideau, his Orange County Outdoors. He just posted a really cool one today.
Large orcas, right?
What's the white one called? There's a name.
Don't know.
There's this orca that's got some sort of genetic mutation.
White-faced killer.
Hey, do you guys want to end this and start cart? And stream
I believe so. Yeah.
And we'll just keep
You want to stream cart?
Yeah, you want to try that? We'll just keep the.
Well, thank you,
going.
loyal listeners.
Fuck off, San Diego. Damn it.
Hold on. Let's see. I wonder if this will work through the microphone.
Hopefully we asked at least a few more questions this episode for anyone caring to join.
To stop. This is amateur hour, and it needs to stop. This is...
All right. Just like that, we are out of here.
That was a salute.